Fuck me!
Okay, so here's how it went down. I upgraded my PC in 2017 and got an Oculus VR headset. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was hooked on the thing for like a month and a half, maybe. I was like, oh my God, this is totally the future. I had this feeling like I just had to stop everything else I was doing and just head in this direction and work on stuff like this.
So Rob always had this idea, like, let's make games. And I thought, okay, we can try it. But we had no idea where to start. And it turned out our friend Artem Galeyev already had these sketches of a world that was absolutely unique. It was a story about the Soviet Union in an alternate reality. There were robots and all kinds of high-tech stuff.
So I called Artem up and I was like, I've got this idea. What do you think? And he says, let me show you something. So he comes to the office the next day with a flash drive. We put it in my rig and open this folder. And there's all kinds of stuff there. And it's really awesome. So we're like, man, this is cool. And this is cool too. And this is seriously dope. And we immediately realized that this right here is what we want our development be based on.
I'm sitting there thinking, dang, this is messed up. I mean, it looks absolutely insane. On the one hand, it's gorgeous. But on the other, it's like kind of ridiculous. But that was cool too. So I thought, if we're gonna start a game company without any experience, or even the slightest idea of how to do it, or what to do, I guess we probably need to have the right project. It was supposed to be something gorgeously insane. I don't know, messed up, but in an awesome way.
It was really a continuation of what I'd done before. You know, pictures, videos, stuff like that. But closer to interactivity, closer to a game.
It's like, if everybody's got a certain percentage of creativity and a certain percentage of, I don't know, rationality, then Artem is like 100% creativity and 100% creative insanity. And that insanity is what gave birth to all these worlds. The worlds of Atomic Heart. I mean, he's a genius. I think a lot of people, or at least artists, came to our project because they just wanted to work with Artem. Yeah, like, they wanted to know what's going on in this guy's head. Where does he get this stuff?
I'd already tried to go further and realized I was gonna need a team. I just couldn't get there on my own.
There was me, Rob, and Artem, and the first person to join our team was Oleg.
What I liked during this phase was that we had a small team, and it was really easy for us all to interact. We had about 10 people, so I could just walk over to the next desk and tell somebody something, and everybody would hear it. So we didn't even need to have memos or meetings or anything.
We were a really small studio. We had this tiny little office, maybe 10 feet by 10 feet. We literally had 2 or 3 desks, and a couple of chairs and a few computers. So that's how we got started. But since our goal was to be an international studio, we decided to have our base in Cyprus. So we made our main company in Cyprus, and eventually we all moved there.
If we hadn't had that initial setup, with just me, Artem, Zhinya, our first leads, then none of this would ever have happened. And we really needed people who were on the same page, you know? We needed people who had this shared perspective and would be ready to, like, make a certain decision and work on it for years and years, without straying from the path. In other words, from the very beginning, our company's main idea was to take Atomic Heart and put it in the same league as BioShock, Fallout, and Doom. We wanted it to become a recognizable franchise, up there with the best of them. It'd be easy to just do what other people are doing in movies and games and stuff, but what's the point of that? It'd just be derivative. That's not the goal we've set for ourselves. We wanted to make something unique, something that's ours, but also appeals to a broader audience. So our studio had been around for about a year and a half. And all in all, pre-production went pretty well. We had a detailed idea of what we wanted to do.
It's been a long but worthwhile journey getting here.
We spent all of 2017 redoing the game over and over again. Within one day, a single mechanic could change several times.
We knew people really liked the setting, and we felt like it'd be a shame to waste it on a little VR project. We wanted to make something on a bigger scale.
It better be. I deserve some kind of distinction after spending all these years serving the people.
So we started looking around for people who could, join us and help us make that happen.
We were negotiating with a few different publishers, and they were asking us what we were doing, what we were planning to do, what it was going to look like, what the gameplay is going to be like, what our plans were, stuff like that. A game is more like a TV show because it takes a long time to play through, maybe a few dozen hours or so. So you can't just send them a completed game all at once. So we decided to make a trailer.
You don't say.
I took a marker and started drawing on the board, and I'm like, I think the trailer should be like this. And then I just listed everything off, all the events, the way I saw them, the way they were supposed to happen. So that's what we did. We put it all in this cool episode. And then on May 8th, I posted it online, turned off my laptop, and I got in my car and drove to the airport and flew off to Thailand on vacation. 25 hours later, I'd been dreaming of this vacation for a long time, because it'd already been over a year, and we'd been insanely busy. So I get there and I'm like, I can finally relax. I check into my hotel, open my laptop, and check my email to see if I have any messages. I push the button, and my whole inbox is overflowing with unread emails. There was 250, maybe 300. So I start poking around in there. And there's Electronic Arts, and there's Sony, and there's Activision, and there's IGN. And I'm like, what in the world? What's going on? I start poking around in the links, and I go to IGN. Kotaku, Eurogamer, and Atomic Heart is all over the place. On every page, every random gaming news website had Atomic on its main page. We started moving forward a lot more confidently after that. Plus, of course, after a few million people have seen your trailer and liked it, that gives you a certain amount of confidence that you're doing something people are gonna like, and not just something you cooked up for yourself. And only a few geeks are gonna get it.
No need to fight back, sugar. You're gonna love.
And yes, you can tell it's awesome. But that kind of reaction from the audience, I never expected people to start blowing up our inboxes like that. I mean, we even got contacted by Forbes, the American magazine.
There were 1.5 million views on IGN, about 3 million on some Facebook reposts, and another 2 million somewhere else. All in all, there were 20 million scattered all over the place. I wasn't really surprised. I didn't see it as something that happened logically. More like luck. It was just this combination of circumstances, the right thing at the right time, and everything just came together. I was like, well, shoot, there goes my vacation.
I've known Rob for 15 years now, and he's a really creative person, but he's also really hard-headed. I mean, people are different. There are people who get into something, they start doing it one day, and then the next day they lose interest. But Rob, if he starts doing something, he does it all the way. He wanted to start a game company, so there was, no chance of us not starting a game company.
So I just sat there in my hotel room for a week or so, just talking on the phone and dealing with all this correspondence.
Don't you think that may have been a bit too much?
Nope.
For some reason, your response didn't surprise me at all.
When we read the feedback, I looked through all the comments. I have a really detail-oriented approach, and I always get down to the nitty-gritty. I care a lot about the feedback I get from our audience. People wanted to see, intrigue, A game with a spirit of exploration, but also with a story. We pretty much just painstakingly worked through all this feedback, and we came to the conclusion that we had our work cut out for ourselves if we wanted to satisfy all these expectations and do it really well. When you have a lot of people working together, everything gets more complicated. You end up with all kinds of compromises, vague deadlines, and a ton of stuff I'd encountered before in traditional post-production, or production at movie studios, or whatever. That's just how it goes. It's all about compromise.
Something's wrong.
Oh, shit!
In my opinion, you can't have art without discipline. Our lives revolve around deadlines and assignments. We don't just pull stuff out of a hat. We're always trying to tackle a certain task. It takes a certain kind of discipline. Managing these creative processes is the hardest part, but you can't have one without the other.
This is a really capital-intensive business. We needed to attract a partner or partners, so we started thinking about how to do that. For us, the main thing has always been to not lose our individuality. We need to be able to do our thing.
Then, at some point, people showed up who started to believe that our vision makes sense and we know what we're doing, and they're willing to support us all along the way, just the way we wanted, like more easygoing partners, let's call them that.
The first to join us was Anton Udintsev, founder and president of Godjin Entertainment. Following Anton, the investment fund Jim Capital joined us. Their belief in our project at the early stages inspired us and helped us to move forward. And a little later, Tencent joined us too, because we realized that, aside from having a tremendous amount of experience, the guys from Tencent were also willing to be pretty flexible, to not put pressure on us, and to give us enough space to be creative. And that was a high priority for us.
Of course, a lot of credit goes to Zhenya, her commercial intuition and ability to build relationships with partners. Our group, the people who were there before Anton and Jim, and then Tencent showed up. We invested our own money in this.
That's a fucking leap of faith!
This isn't a monotonous one-sided game. There are games where you have one specific type of gameplay, and you do the same thing over and over, and you get bored. Our goal was to make a variety where anyone can find something of interest.
Atomic Heart isn't just a game you can just buy, download, play, and forget about. Atomic is something way bigger. This project is art in the broadest possible sense of the word. The scale of the game is huge, way bigger than a book, since it's visualized too. It's bigger than a movie, because when you go to the movies, you just sit there and watch what the director shows you. If the director wants you to look at something, you look at it. But in a game, you can look everywhere. It's really the quintessential art form. We've got a tremendous responsibility to our audience. We've got a responsibility to our partners who believe in us and have helped us have such comfortable conditions. And we've got a responsibility to the team, who've pretty much spent years of their lives working with us. It's really cool when so many people believe in an idea you came up with. I mean, all these people believe in us. And we've also got a certain amount of responsibility to them. We want them to be able to say with pride, I worked on Atomic Heart.
Video games are an art form. To make a long story short, the people who make games should really want to make them and have a real passion for it. Yeah, you definitely need to be either some kind of crazy person or really stupid. Because if you've done this before, then you need to have an incredibly good reason to do it again. Because you know you're in for a world of pain. This definitely isn't for everyone. I think people who decide to develop games definitely aren't in it for the money. They just have this urge. It's like, I just could not do it. That's what it's like, you know?
Been sworn to defend mankind and its destiny.
People's expectations are high. Everybody thinks this is going to be an amazing AAA product, so at the very least, you can't make it worse than what you think a AAA product should be like. When you see the feedback you're getting, how powerful it is, and all the expectations people have for your game, it's really incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. But at the same time, it's also really scary, because you realize you've got this terrifying responsibility. You need to make everything totally perfect. Like, the shooting has to be amazing, and it has to have recoil and all that stuff. And then there's the melee combat. And all these systems need to be coded just right to be entertaining. The story needs to be incredible. And, you know, in 2018, we were in this position where there was a lot of stuff we still didn't know, but at least we knew what we needed to do. And so every time we reached the next phase, we were following this trajectory we'd set out in the beginning. We never wavered from it. But honestly, if I'd known what was really in store for us and how challenging it was going to be, I might have thought twice about it. Well, maybe more than twice.
Let's have some fun now.